folks, welcome back to LearnTube. The last video of PWA playlist was about creating an Angular application that met 100% on Lighthouse Audit. Today, we shall see how can we create React application that scores 100% on Google Chrome Lighthouse Audit. This time we shall use a new Google product called Workbox to add PWA features into React application. This video focuses only on PWA and not React application development. Workbox is a toolkit from Google which has inbuilt JavaScript libraries in it, a very useful product if you want to build PWA applications very quickly. In this video, I will start from scratch. If you are not aware of Lighthouse and Workbox, please don't worry. Let us begin. I will head to the Node.js terminal and create a folder that will hold my React project. Let me go inside D drive. Then fire mkdir React-PWA demo, which will create a folder with React-PWA demo as its name. Then hit enter. Then I go into the created folder and clear my screen. Now here I will hit create-react-app-demo. This will create React project for me with the name demo. Project creation will take some time. Shortly our project will be ready. Well, it is done and the demo project is ready. I will go inside the project by hitting cd demo. Then, I will open this project in Visual Studio Code. I can do this by hitting the code space dot. Then I hit enter. In the Solution Explorer, we can see all the source code. Our objective is to add progressive web application features into this React application such that it scores 100% on the Google Chrome Lighthouse Audit. Now if you see here, there is a file called as serviceWorker.js which has got logic to create service worker. However, the code present in this file does not allow the service worker in the development mode. It does this by checking whether you are running localhost or not. Internally, React project is configured to use Workbox. You can find all these details if we eject this project by hitting npm command npm run eject. If you are interested you can explore it. However, I am not going to do it as it is not recommended and also it is an irreversible change. In short, as per this file, the service worker is planned to work only in the production environment. So also, it looks pretty difficult to configure the service worker with the kind of boilerplate code present. If you see index.js file, you will see that service worker unregister method is called, and the service worker file is referred using the import statement. We will delete the unregister code and also the import statement. Once that is done, I will also go and delete the serviceWorker.js file. With that, we have deleted the serviceWorker.js file, and the service worker code from the index.js file. Let us simply run the project to see that it works fine. In future, we will replace the deleted code with our code. I will now do npm start, and I will see how this React web application works in the browser at port 3000. Hopefully, with the deleted code, it should still work fine as that code had nothing to do with the core React functionality. Nice to see that our application is working. I will go to Lighthouse tool by hitting F12, select the categories as Progressive Web Application and Device as Mobile. Then I will generate the report by hitting the Generate Report button. I know that this audit is going to fail miserably as there is no service worker. We though do have a project manifest file which helps with the app installability. But all this is not sufficient to score 100% in Lighthouse Audit. Lighthouse Audit awards you 3 badges, first one being fast and reliable, which we don't meet because we have no service worker that makes our app work offline. You can see that message in red markers. The second badge, which is installable, is also not awarded, because we don't have a registered service worker. The last badge is PWA optimized, which is also not awarded, because we are not using HTTPS, and secondly our web manifest file is not having icons with the maskable property. I request you to look into these red markers and read it carefully. They also have an arrow button down which provides a lot of information about each criterion that is mentioned. Let us once revisit the demo project once again. Let me open the manifest file called as manifest.json, which is involved in installability of this React application. This is one file which we had not deleted. That is why, in the second badge criteria, we have the green tick saying that web manifest meets with the installability requirements. Even if I revisit the fast and reliable badge criteria, they both have this service worker in common. So, if our service worker is created and it's added with caching capability, we will have both of these badges. HTTPS traffic redirection is not possible because we are using localhost. In case we deploy this application in the cloud or any other server which is HTTPS enabled, we will complete this criterion. At last, the last red marker, which is about making the icon maskable, we shall see how to do it in the manifest file. All this while we were running the React application in the development mode using npm start. We saw various red markers in the audit. Our next job will be to put all the PWA features into the application. To do that, first I will stop the ongoing development server using Ctrl+C, then press Y. Let us go ahead and build this application, using npm run build and then hit enter. After we build this project, we shall see a build folder with all the required files to make my React application work on any deployment target such as a server or cloud. While the build process is undergoing, let me quickly show you one more thing in the Lighthouse audit. Make sure that you select PWA and mobile checkboxes every time before you generate the audit. To clear the previous audit, you can simply click on this button. Okay, the application is built, and with that, you will see a build folder in the Solution Explorer. This build folder has all the files to generate the full-fledged application for the user or consumer. This also means that we don't need anything else from the project. The build process has packed for us all that we need, right into this build folder. Let us just open this build folder to see what is into it. Now that my build is ready, I will apply PWA features on this built content. I will open this in Explorer using Reveal in Explorer. I am going to make a copy of this build folder and I will paste it outside of the demo project folder. This is the build which will be eventually deployed in the production. Now, I am going to copy the path of the newly copied build folder, and open it in the terminal using the cd command. Clear the screen, and hit code. This will open the build folder inside the VS Code. Close the previous VS Code project instance to avoid confusion so as to focus on this build folder. Now, here you will see service-worker.js file. If you open it, you will see a lot of code into it. There is also Precache manifest file. I will go and delete this file. Also, delete the asset manifest.json. Now in the service worker, delete all code from it. Now that we have deleted a couple of files, and we have also deleted code from the service worker, let us run this built application to see if anything is breaking. To test the built, you will need a node package like serve, which can launch a server using the build folder. Serve is just one of the node package, there are many like it. If you don't have serve, install serve using npm install serve -g. Since I have already installed serve on my machine, I will straightaway do serve --. Serve --. will serve whatever is there in the build folder provided you give the correct path. Then hit enter. This will launch server at localhost port 5000. I will open localhost 5000 in the browser. This time, under Application tab you will see a service worker. This is some stale data of my older app, hence I will clear the storage for localhost 5000 so that application can be freshly loaded next time. We could do this because we knew that we never had anything in our service worker. This is a good option to clear any stale remains of older site running at same address. Now once again I will go into the Lighthouse, and conduct an audit. We are just doing this to check if there is any progress in our application, considering that this time we have built our application. No wonder, we shall see the same audit result in the Lighthouse. Doing these repetitive audits is useful to catch bugs in the audit or the console. From now on, we shall only deal with the build folder which got generated by the build process. All the necessary code to fix the red markers would be added to the build folder. Let us begin with the caching, so that the application works offline. So what to cache? We will cache everything that you see in the build folder except the service worker. Only when these assets are cached, the application would work offline. We are going to use Google tool named Workbox to help us with caching. The first step is to install npm package called workbox-build. I will exit the running serve by doing Ctrl+C, then Y, and then clear the screen. I will hit command, npm install workbox-build, space, --save, -dev. Once this installation completes, you will see node_modules folder in your Solution Explorer. I want to precache Web App Assets. What is precaching? Precaching means, we will cache all the required assets from this project so that they are readily available immediately after the first load. The Workbox tool will do this caching in the service worker install event listener. Hence it is called as precaching, as it happens in the first step of service worker lifecycle event, which is installed event. With precaching, the application will load even if you are offline, as all the files required by the web app are available in the cache, after first successful network load. Hence, when you precache files, select only those files which are necessary. Exclude the serviceWorker.js file in the precaching. Every time you will build your ReactJS project, you will get this build folder. Then you will do precaching. This is a repetitive step, and you will do it every time when you are production ready, or when you are about to deploy this build into a production environment. In our current build folder, we have various files. Let us precache those. Now, we are not going to manually put the names of the files during precaching. Instead, this will be done automatically using the code. I will create a file called as PWA Helper.js. I will put some code in this file, a link to which has been added in this video description. Go and grab the code from the description link, and dump that code in this file. Now, let me explain you the code. In this code, we are requiring workbox-build package, that we had installed some time back. There is a function called as build_sw, which generates a service worker with all the required precaching, using configuration given. Provide the service worker name service-worker in both the places. Because I am inside the build folder, change the glob directory name accordingly. The glob pattern defines a regular expression, which dictates the files that would be precached. In this case, it is JS, CSS, HTML and PNG files. The moment I run PWA helper code, it will generate precaching code, or also called as Precache manifest, in my service-worker.js file. As of now, the serviceWorker.js file is empty, but the question is, where would the Precache manifest be injected? For that, we need to put a placeholder inside the service-worker.js file, so that when the PWA helper code runs, the Precache manifest gets injected in the provided placeholder. So, let us put the placeholder in the service-worker.js file. This is nothing but a couple of lines of code. Here, line number 2 will be replaced by Precache manifest. The build.sw function, when invoked, will create the Precache manifest, and inject it in the placeholder that we have defined in the service-worker.js file. To run this function, I can use Node.js. Simply open the Node.js CMD, and hit node PWA Helper.js, and then hit enter. It may take a few minutes to execute the function. Well, it has finished, and we can see that 8 files have been precached. All the 8 files which we are precaching are here, in other words, the Precache manifest is right in front of you. Let me organize the code for better viewing. If you remember, these are all the files that make our build folder. That also means that if we cache all these files, we will have our application with offline working capability. Remember that this process will form your pre-deployment step. That is, each time just before your actual deployment you will do pre-caching, and generate this pre-caching manifest. Now, this manifest also has PWA Helper.js file, which I can delete, as I don't need to cache it. With this done, we are good to go. With that done, we have completed pre-caching, which utilizes Workbox, and we have also imported the Workbox. Pre-caching is not an out-of-the-box functionality, and hence importing Workbox using import scripts is essential. This is what forms your final service worker. We have still not finished. We need to register this service worker. That can be done in the index.html file. Let me format the index.html file for better viewing. Let us add a script tag. Make sure that you register the service worker only once the whole app loads in the browser. This is essential for better user experience, as we don't want the user to have a degraded experience that something goes wrong with the service worker, and then the app doesn't load because of it. Hence, it is wise to register the service worker after the app loads. I am going to listen to the window onload event. Then, I will check if the service worker is supported by the current user browser or not. All the modern browsers do support service worker, but it is always good to check it. This can be done by checking if the service worker exists in the navigator, that is your browser. If that is true, then the service worker is supported. Let me console log it. If the service worker is not supported, then we will tell the user to upgrade their browser. In the if block, let us register the service worker. This can be done by using the navigator.serviceWorker.register method, which requires the relative path of the service worker. This function returns a promise. Hence, we shall put an await keyword, and mark the outside function with an async keyword. Finally, we log that service worker is registered. To keep the video short, I am skipping the try and catch block. But, I request you to do it by yourself. This is required to handle the errors if thrown due to service worker registration. With all done, let us do serve. In the terminal to check the application. Open the app in the browser at port 5000. Our service worker is registered, and Workbox is precaching 7 files. We can see that in the console log. That means, Workbox is into the action. Next, we see an install icon in the URL bar, which allows me to install my application. My progressive web application features are working. Let me cancel install and look into the Workbox. see that all the files are being cached. In the App tab, in the Cache section, I can see the workbox cache. I see all the cached files here that we had mentioned in the Precache manifest. In the Service Workers section, I can see that the service worker is activated and running. Finally, let us now do the Lighthouse audit. Clear the previous audit report, and generate a fresh report. Let us keep those categories and devices to the same setting as before. That is super. We have been awarded 2 badges, fast and reliable and installable. With a working service worker and precaching, now my application can work offline. Also, I can install my app, that we have already checked. We are still a couple of steps away from the 3rd badge. That is because, we are not using HTTPS and a Maskable icon in the web manifest. To get HTTPS, we need a certificate. An alternate approach to cover this up is to deploy this app in any cloud provider which helps in static site deployment with HTTPS. Now many can help here, such as storage account in Azure, S3 in AWS, etc., or even Netlify, whose sign-up doesn't even require a credit card. That is why I love Netlify, and we will use Netlify. Secondly, our web manifest does not have a Maskable icon. The Maskable icon means that the image app logo fills up the entire shape without being letterboxed when this app is installed on a device. To fix this one, let us click on this link to understand more. This opens up a new page for me with all the details. If you read through this text, you will get to know more about the Maskable icon. I leave this portion to read for you, and I will scroll down to see the steps required to fix this Maskable icon issue. To pass the audit, web manifest must exist. That we already have. The web manifest must have an icons array. That too we have. The last bullet says that the icons array must have one object with purpose property, and its value should be maskable. That is what is missing. If we go bit more down, we see a section on how to add Maskable icon support to your PWA. Let me copy the purpose property from here and then paste it inside my icons array in my web manifest.json file. Let me now save my web manifest. Then, I terminate the running serve. Let me do serve. Once again. I intend to do another round of audit to check the Maskable icon red marker criterion. Let me clear the existing audit, reload my app and hit the Generate Report button. I won't change any audit settings. If we scroll down, we see that manifest now shows the Maskable icon criterion with a green tick. We are now just one step away from getting all the 3 badges. Google Chrome will then observe our application as 100% PWA. Even if you don't meet this HTTPS criterion, it is not a big deal, as we are in our development ecosystem. In a real production scenario, our web application would be always served over HTTPS. However, I will show you how to deploy this application in Netlify such that it is served over HTTPS. I am just choosing Netlify, but you are free to select any other cloud provider. The best part of Netlify is that it is free to try some POCs unless you are deploying some commercial applications. Secondly, Netlify is good for easy static content deployment, such as build generated from ReactJS, Angular or Vue for that matter. Finally, it also supports Git-based CI/CD deployments. Why are we doing deployment? We are doing it just to get free HTTPS-enabled URL which will pave a way for 3 badges. Search for Netlify on Google and hit this link. I already have an account with Netlify. It is a very simple sign-up procedure, wherein it takes a few details, and it creates your Netlify account in a quick time. A very hassle-less process, I must say. I request you to try signing up on your own after clicking the Sign Up button. Once I log into Netlify, I see sites which I had deployed a few days back. If we scroll down a bit, you will read a message, "Do you want to deploy your site without connecting to Git?" Then you can simply drag and drop the folder here. It is that simple deployment. But before we deploy, let us create a fresh folder to hold only files that are necessary for the application. Open this project by clicking Reveal in Explorer. Once you are inside the build folder, select all files except node modules, package.lock.json, and PWA Helper Js file. This is because we don't need these three for deployment. Except that, copy all the files. Then create a new folder, name it as my React-PWA, and then dump all the copied files into this folder. This folder has only the required files. This is the folder that you will drag into Netlify. If you wish to deploy your app anywhere else, this is the final folder that you will ever need. For now, let us drag this folder into Netlify. It will take a few minutes to upload. You will see a message that your site has not yet been deployed. It will take some time. Okay, the site is deployed and we have a URL in green color. Let me open URL in the new browser tab. We see our application running. We also do see the install icon in the URL bar. With all that done, let us do a Lighthouse audit. If you see now, we have met the PWA criteria and won all the badges. Our application has scored 100% on the PWA Lighthouse audit. Our application is fast and reliable, installable and PWA optimized. That's it folks. If you liked this video, please subscribe to our channel by hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss any videos like this.